Hi, everybody. How you doing? Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, maybe Friday morning. I don't know. Hello, Trish. How are you doing?
Hi, Wayne. I'm great. Thank you. I'm just getting YouTube up so I can see the chat.
Okay, well, this is typically what we would be doing on Wednesday, but it's Thursday. But I'm recovering, so we pushed it back to Thursday. So, Miss Trisha, how is life in the UK?
Life's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
life's good.
What are you
Um,
seeing over there? I mean, because you're like our eyes and ears. We get people from all over the world, but hey, you're our eyes and ears there. Hi, Warrior Princess.
Hi to everyone in the chat. Hi,
Hi,
Lois.
Nick, Rick, Rachel. I haven't seen Pershni before. Hello, welcome. And Nibru Freedom Fighter. Hello.
Prashni comes in my chat room, so she's probably found you through me. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So, what's going on in the UK these days?
Well, we've got the royal wedding this weekend, and I know
That's
that might.
right.
Yeah, I know in America it probably doesn't interest a lot of people, but I had this not argument discussion. I don't know, it was my son and some other people. No, some of the people in America that were saying about how much the royal wedding's costing, and I totally agree. But then they don't realize how much revenue it actually brings to the UK.
Yeah, I mean, the whole world will be watching y'all this weekend.
It'd be interesting to find out the figures, but the amount of revenue that it creates for not just London but the whole of the UK probably will pay for it and more. To be honest with you.
Wow.
That's my sort of not argument back, but sort of comeback is it's not just all going out. There's a lot coming back in.
You think about it. Let's just get real here in the real world. In the modern era of which we're in, the world no longer has a royal family. Y'all are the last one.
And I'm not a big royalist, and even my son's, he's not really into the royal family, and he thinks it should be wiped out, taken out. I disagree. I quite like having a royal family, but I'm not sure why I do, but I just quite like the fact we've got a royal family. And it does bring a lot of revenue.
It does. Even
sadly, when Diana died, not that I would wish people to make money off someone dying, but oh my gosh, the amount of people that came to London.
When you speak of Princess Di, I always equate her death, her assassination, to the same equivalency of John Kennedy.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And I do believe, I don't care what anyone says, I do believe she was,
Oh, she was assassinated. There's no doubt. And the rumors run rampant as to what it was. My personal belief is that, because I wasn't there, you can only go on superstition or, what you hear, but I think she found out something.
She was about to announce something apparently as well, which was probably her mistake of saying, I'm going to announce it.
She really thought Jodi's father could actually protect them. I mean, which, he was at that time just getting to become a billionaire, but no amount of money, I think, can protect you from that type of power source.
No. And there's not many things that have happened in this country that I still remember to the day where I was and when I was told and what I was doing when it was announced. And there's not many things that I remember, apart from the Twin Towers. I remember I was at work, still in the military, and we were watching it on TV as it happened. They're about the only two sort of major things I can just say. I know where I was at that time, and I'll never forget.
That exact moment. Mm-hmm. And I always remember it so well because it was Labor Day weekend here in the United States, and I was living out in California at the time, and just weird. When you first heard about it, it was like, did that really happen?
Yeah, I was, like I say, I'm not a big royalist, but I was really upset. I was just shocked that, she was so young.
I often think, hi, JH, how you doing? Good to see you.
And it's interesting because she was a Life Path 7, the same as the Queen.
Oh, really?
But what I've found, I've done a bit of studying, a lot of Life Path 7s, especially like Marilyn Monroe, I've probably said this before, Marilyn Monroe was a 7. She was taken out, I believe, as well. Lorenz Scott, who's the model that was involved with, what's his name, from the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger, yeah.
She was a life path 7, took her own life, and there's quite a lot of, in the media, younger, like early, say, 20s, 30s women that mysteriously, and 7 is the number of the seeker of the truth, and it's quite a mysterious number. Obviously, the Queen, I wouldn't wish bad on her, or whatever people say. She's,
Well, I often wonder if their deaths were not sacrifices.
Could be, yeah.
I think that particularly with Di, that she was in fact sacrificed. And I don't know how Prince Charles lives with that. I really don't. To me, it's like, yeah.
Because, it's a difficult one. I have no idea. But like Bob Geldof's ex-wife, so Bob Geldof that did Live Aid, was part of Live Aid.
Right.
She had a drug overdose. She was a 7. Their daughter was a life path 7. She died in a apparent drug overdose.
Yeah, and I'm not, some of this we'll never know, but
so many that are 7s, and I don't want to scare anyone that's a 7, because there's lots of 7s, obviously, but I'm talking about people in the public eye.
He's just saying, hey, I'm a 7. Yikes.
I know, I don't want to scare anybody. Like, they're in the public. I'm talking about people in the public eye that seem to maybe know things.
Mm-hmm. That is a point. I just saw Nick's comment. Hi, Joanne. How are you doing? John Kelly, how are you?
Probably not very well.
That it seems like I hadn't thought about Marilyn Monroe in quite a long time, but I do know, just from my limited exposure to the political world, that I don't know what she found out or what she heard in those days or moments of passion, who knows, but apparently it was enough that she was considered to be a real threat.
And she was at least a double 7, because she was the 1st of June. So like us, she's got a 1 birthday, she's got a 7 attitude number, but her life path was a 7. So she's got a minimum of 2 7s in her chart. Haven't done her full chart for a while. I have done it before. So yeah, she must have known stuff. And I was like, she's a Gemini. I liked Marilyn Monroe. I think she's a bit of an icon. And she'd come from she was in a children's home, wasn't she? She was very vulnerable as well.
It makes me wonder. Oh, Dancer is coming in.
Dancer's tuning in.
Dancer, my little dancer girl. So it tells me that there is such things as what I call secret societies. I'm convinced of that. And, I have a connection to the royal family. Don't talk about it because, quite frankly, it's no one else's business. But I do know some things that has convinced me that there is a shadow power system that, and I've changed my attitude about what's good and evil. I don't know if these people see things like we do. We try to define everything in black and white. That's why we do. It's our nature.
Yeah.
But I think that there are some who don't see it that way. They just see it as it is. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a very different way of life to what when I was in the military, every year you get the chance to go to the Queen's garden party.
Oh, really?
Certain military people, and I did apply, but I never got picked. But I would have loved to have gone just out of curiosity to see what it was like. But
I'd have gone.
I would have gone, but I didn't get picked because they only pick so many. I don't know how they pick and things like that. But it would have been very interesting to go and just see what it was like. But I didn't get picked, sadly. So,
wow. In fact, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find something that you sent me.
Oh, the picture.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up.
I've put the training part of it, but when it came in a TS file, so we've had to convert it to MP4, and I've got the passing out parade where you see me more face to face. I was like, wow, I was 18 there. I have got the picture. I'd have to. Did you actually really want to see it?
Well, I think it just, I have to say, Trisha, I was quite taken aback.
Was she?
I said, look at here. So if you can pull that up, I know I have it somewhere.
Because I know you were saying about you want to see pictures, and I don't have actually many.
Well, I think any woman in uniform, I'll just be honest with you. My wife knows this. I think that's pretty sexy myself.
Well, we looked really, here, I've got it. We looked really smart on the passing out parade. Okay. So I need to
it's just how I'm wired, folks. I mean, come on. I mean, you know.
I think a lot of men do though. Right. So I'll share screen, just this one photo.
Yeah, okay. Yep, share the screen.
So yeah. This is just my class. So I was in Draco 8s and there was other
folks classes. Look at this. This is priceless. So where are you? Right there?
That's me.
Oh, Trisha.
Age 18. Innocent life ahead of me. Yeah, this was me.
Can you blow that up a little bit? All right, there you go, right there. Yeah. Now.
Yeah, that's me.
Trisha, you look like a teenager.
I was.
Oh, that's right. You were 18, weren't you?
This girl here next to me, we got on really well. She was only 16.
16. Now, so is this what branch of the service is this over in England? What would it be, like the Navy here?
The Royal Navy, yeah. So, but we weren't all going to be doing the same jobs. Like she went off to do something else.
Trisha.
I was a meteorologist. I don't know if there was any other meteorologists. Let me just go.
You look so sharp and dapper.
Yeah, all sharp with we have to wear leather gloves, the girls do. And yeah, that was our passing out parade day where we'd finished our training.
The chap to your right, I guess, he looks rather young too.
Yeah, he was very young. Me and him, Mark here, we were very good friends, let's say. I always remember him. And it was really strange. I went on my leadership course and years later, and he was on my course. I was like, you can make this stuff up. Like, this is
priceless.
Don't think, and she was a cook, he was a cook. I remember I don't think any of these here were meteorologists.
Okay.
Just trying to have a look. No.
Now, did some of these of your classmates here, did they go on to do actual sea duty?
Oh, yeah, most of it. We were all seagoing. So although I didn't go to sea, all these would have gone to sea. Okay. I think she left in the end. A few of these did leave even after he was a cook. Yeah, quite a few of these were cooks, actually. But it's just, yeah. But some of the meteorologists were in the other, like they had like different classes or division. No, they were called like Walker. There were houses, Walker, Palu, Cunningham. A few of the other meteorologists were in. So we were all one big intake, but they had to put you in, you know, it was too many people to handle because he was our instructor. We were his last class. So he was actually quite lenient as long as we did things properly.
Yeah.
You know, he was actually quite lenient on us. So we were lucky. We were his last class and he was either leaving the military or just leaving that job.
Wow.
So, and the guys with stripes here, they're officers, commissioned officers.
Okay.
So you have to call them sir and salute them. But he was our divisional officer.
Well, that's how you have to do it over here too.
This guy here, I remember pulling him out the hole when we did the, he's called Gadsby, pulled him out of the whole when we're doing the assault course. He was ex-army. So we got a few ex-army people that got injured because they need to be more physically fit in the army, I guess.
So you helped him. Trisha,
I pulled him out
I was going to say, he must outweigh you by at least, what, I'd say 20 stones?
I don't know. He was about 14, 15 stone, maybe. I don't know. He'd lost. I was the only one that put weight on. Everybody else lost weight.
And you put on weight?
I put a stone in muscle, I think it was, in the 7 weeks.
Wow. Now, did they
Yeah.
have a pretty intense basic training?
Yeah, I've put the basic training video up, but it only shows bits. So it shows it. My son said, "Oh, it's like a holiday camp." I said, "Yeah, but you're seeing the best bits. You're not seeing
The stuff that you really, yeah.
yeah, the fun bits where they, were videoing us. But like when we did the squad runs, you know, they
The
were hard at
PT
work.
time? Yeah. Well, I just think this is wonderful.
Yeah, it's good to see it, and I'm glad I paid for it to be converted because the
Yeah.
video was from '92, and I didn't know if it'd been in the garage at my parents' house, and I thought, well, it could
Well,
be
it
just
held up
damaged.
well. It did very well because, video does have a tendency to degrade very quickly.
Mm.
This is great.
So we've got to convert the passing out parade again and put it up. But do you know the really great thing, Wayne, was I'll just stop screen sharing now, shall I? On the passing out video, let me just get YouTube back up. Obviously, there's hundreds of people there, families, and they got my father on camera, who's now no longer with us. And I was like, I wonder if my family is going to be on video. And it scanned across, and there was my brother and his now wife, but then there was my boyfriend at the time stood with my dad, and I didn't know he was on it because there was hundreds of people, and they didn't video everybody. And it's about the only footage I've got of my dad. So that was a nice surprise.
That's priceless.
I brought 3 tears to my eyes. I was like, yeah, my dad's on it. And he was crying.
Which brings me to the thought, we don't think about this so often, but the ability for us to actually take pictures. And, I know that there's a lot of cultures, native, they found in Australia and others, that the natives would see people taking pictures of them. They thought that they were taking their soul. But when you brought up the fact that you saw a picture of your dad, it reminded me is that your dad became alive again.
Yeah, it was like video footage, and it was watching him with Philip, who was he was my boyfriend at the time. And I couldn't see my mum on it. I think she must have been sat down because she was ill and they didn't know if she was going to be able to go. But yeah, he was stood there, so I was so happy that they got him on camera because of my wedding video, which I don't have a copy of. I don't have any video footage of him. My mum's got it all, and I don't have access to that.
And these are things that define our lives. I mean,
yeah,
from my perspective, it shows how time can remain timeless.
And he didn't want me to go in. He didn't sign the papers. My mum did, because I think I was under 18 when I applied. So he didn't want me to go, so he wouldn't sign the papers.
Now, was he in the military or not? Okay.
No, none of his family were, but my mum's side of the family. Seems like I've done a bit of both. Like I've done the military thing, and then I've done just my father's side of the family type of stuff. But now I'm doing my own thing, which is completely different to everybody else. Now, my dad ran away from, what do you call it? I think they were conscripted or whatever they call it. He was a twin. I think they went on the run. I don't know if I should say this. I've heard mixed stories because they were twins. And then he said his brother had flat feet. And if you had flat feet, you actually got you out of it. But I think they went on the run. They were trying to get them because he was born in 1939. And I think they were on the run to avoid. But you never know. If he'd have gone in, I might not be here today.
I don't know. Now, was that during the Vietnam War? What time frame was that?
Well, he was born in 39.
Okay, so
Would it be Second World War?
He'd be coming out. Yeah, he had been a war baby. Yeah.
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 But when he was so if he was born in 39, I don't know what age they were trying to conscript them, but they went on the run.
Pretty young back in those days. I mean, my friend in the royal family sent some pictures during the Nazi bombings and showing pictures of the royal family at the time where the Queen was. And I didn't realize that even the royal palace had gotten bombed pretty well. I mean, it looked a mess, the pictures I saw. So I could understand that. I mean, that's a very vivid memory for that generation. My dad, he will be 83 and he was born in 1935. So his memories of the war are when he was just a little guy. Yeah.
Well, my mum's father was in the Royal Air Force, but the stories he gave, I thought he was a pilot.
Oh,
That's the impression he gave, but he wasn't.
he wasn't, huh?
He was a
Well,
physical training instructor.
well, it's amazing how time goes, how you can begin to,
He
history
gave the
has a way.
impression that he was a pilot. The stories, I remember him vividly because I used to go and stay with him when I was only probably 6. And I was like, I always thought he was a pilot. And he was like, no, he's a PTI, a physical training instructor, which is still good, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
wasn't a
Listen,
pilot. I think he probably wished he was a pilot.
when I was growing up in Texas, we lived at the end of a runway base, an Air Force base, and so I had friends that were going to school that lived on the base. And I can remember one time a friend he invited me there, so rode the bus, and we somehow or another got out where they were parking the cargo planes, C-130s, if anyone knows what they are. And him and I are running through these aircrafts. And I'm thinking about that today, that, today that would be considered probably a terrorist act. I don't know, but I always remember that, being inside, particularly with the C-130s, they were very valuable there, helping in the war. So, yeah.
The only aircraft I actually got to go up in was a Chinook when I was in Hong Kong. And we got took in the back of a Chinook and they flew us around Hong Kong. That was quite interesting.
Now, that's one of the double bladed ones, right? The Chinook.
I think, they're pretty big. So they carry, they carry people, don't they? Because it was all empty. So probably carry the soldiers or whatever, or Marines. And they opened the side doors and were flying over Hong Kong. And that was really scary. But you got a good view.
I have some acquaintances there in Carlsbad, California, and that is right outside Camp Pendleton. And I was out one morning walking on the beach, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when you mentioned those Chinooks, here was 4 of them, huge things. I mean, the really big ones. And they're literally landing no more than 300 yards down the beach. And so I can only imagine it. Was it pretty loud in there?
Yeah, it was loud from what I remember. I mean, that was 90. I always said I'd love to go to Hong Kong before it got handed back to the Chinese. And I didn't realize.
How was Hong Kong? I've never been there, but what's it like?
It's very interesting. I think it was 94 I went, end of 93, 94. And it's crazy because there's the really posh bits, like in the malls, the shoppers, at all the designer shops. Really, I mean, when I went in just to look around, not because I was buying, they followed you everywhere, whether it's because they thought you were going to steal something or because I was white and I'd stood out kind of thing. But then you come out the designer shops and the really posh places and you'd be in the slums right next door. It was all mixed together. It was strange.
Wow. And it's built up, because I heard that there's not any land available there.
No, it's so busy. Not many people have cars. And like at rush hour, it's just like everybody's like on their laser focused on where they're going. I was very lucky because I heard that some Brits got spat at and things, but I never had anything but positive.
And Hong Kong, what is it? What does it mean? Many smells? Is that what it, I think Hong Kong translates?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But when you go around all the markets, it was a bit of an eye-opener because I'm vegetarian and there was baskets of snakes and they're alive and chickens and...
Snakes?
Baskets of snakes. Yeah. Chickens in baskets, which, I don't like that. But...
the irony of that doesn't escape me for somehow. I mean...
Yeah. It was, this... baskets of animals, which that
So you didn't eat any snake? Well, I've eaten rattlesnake.
Oh,
no, actually I have, and it tastes pretty good. A little stringy, but tastes pretty good. I've had.
It's very interesting. There was some really beautiful parts to it, and it was just all I found all mixed together. Though I love that. It was very. I'm glad I went and I got to go before it went back to the Chinese because I think it changed quite a lot then. But it was interesting.
Well, this is a lot of fun. I'd like to go there. I don't know about today. I mean, the world is, but I think like you were having the opportunity, that would have been very cool because I'd gone to the markets.
Yeah, I went around all the markets and they were often at night time, and cameras were really cheap out there. That was a good. I actually, and you got paid extra for going. When you go to a country like that, you get paid a daily rate extra. I
Okay.
actually lived off my daily rate that I got, so I managed to save a lot of money when I was out there, and
Wow.
I brought gifts back and stuff. But also the race course was right in the middle of Hong Kong,
Did you
which
play
was
the ponies? Did you play the ponies?
no, I didn't. But I went to stay. We went on Christmas Day. We went to our friends that we worked with, and his wife cooked us Christmas dinner because they don't really celebrate Christmas. And I
Yeah.
was there at Christmas, and their apartment looked out onto the race course, and it was right in the middle of Hong Kong. It was the most bizarre thing.
I
This
think that'd have
huge
been really
race.
cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
but you don't imagine it to be right in a city. Usually they're out.
No, you wouldn't think that at all. I was wondering how many other, I'm just seeing how people are doing in here. I know we were just having a great conversation. I'm trying to keep up here. Trisha, the date is, oh, someone wants you to, let's see, September 18th, 2009. The date of my daughter is Denise. Hope to hear back. Nice talk. All right, Dennis. So I guess it's his daughter.
Oh, he
That's your,
wants me to look at the numbers for his daughter.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. So do it now, yeah.
That's all I have. I'm just reading it here, Dennis. If you can add more into it.
Did you want to know anything specific or just the numbers?
That's I'm just reading it here. Trisha.
Egypt's another amazing place, but I didn't go to the pyramids.
You went to Egypt.
Because
I
I've just read Mercury Messenger. Is it Mercury Messenger? But I had no desire to go to the pyramids, and people think I'm crazy because they think I'd be into that. But when I had my astrocartography done, which tells you what's healthy, what countries would be good for different reasons. When you're born, if you need your time of birth for it, though, the planets run through the countries. And for me, Egypt on the coast was fine, but Egypt inland, I think I had Saturn or Pluto running through Egypt. So if I'd have gone to the pyramids, something could have happened. I might have had an accident or something might have happened. And I'm so glad that my partner that I was with, he'd been many times, so he wasn't bothered. So so we just stuck to snorkeling in the water, and
that
so
was it.
Huh?
I mean, you didn't go any other place. I mean, I think that.
Well, we'd had quite a busy time, so I loved just sunbathing, snorkeling. Yeah. It was just a week, so it was. And yeah, we didn't go and see any of the pyramids and stuff, but he'd already done all that. So, but I'm glad I didn't push it, because Princess Diana, going back to her, I think she had Pluto running through Paris and was told not to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Astrocartography is really interesting. A really good place for me is Sri Lanka and the Maldives, especially for romance.
That is very interesting. I had not heard of this before. So what discipline is that? What did you call it?
It's called astrocartography. So
astrocartography.
It's looking at the map of the world and places that are good for you or not so good for you. Or if you want to go and write a book or be more spiritual, different places, depending on the planets.
I'm going to have to write that down.
Yeah, you need your time of birth for that, though. You can't do it without your time of birth.
I know exactly my time of birth.
But just anybody that's interested, you can't. Because my friend who's a Western astrologer in the UK, he taught me that years ago.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's quite, I mean, you can go on astro.com and actually run your own chart. There's an astro card, it's all free. So, and I'm really drawn to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, and I didn't know why, but it is really, he said I could get married or engaged or have a lot of romance there.
Yeah. Saying my internet is, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So, but there's so many things that this, like you were saying, well, if you'd gone to the pyramids, you knew ahead of time that there was potentially something could go.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know before then.
Oh,
I
you
just
did?
had a vibe. I had no desire to go. I don't want to go and see them.
So were
But
you picking up on something, or was that just instinctively? What causes that to get
I
what we
think I
would
just
call premonition?
instinctively had no desire to go.
Okay.
The thought of going just did not interest me, which surprises a lot of people.
Well, it does because, I mean, you're talking to the pyramids. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Most
the
people would think,
Sphinx.
they'd love to go, but I just, no.
So it is one of those. Hi, Suji. Hello. How are you? Alex Fox, good to see you. Anja, good to see you. Boy, a lot of people. Tim, good to see you. Astrocartography. I love that. Tells me to stay out of Africa. I like, there, you see, that's another piece in my thinking that I need to know about because,
Mm,
if there are things, hi, Kit Kat, how are you doing? That if, for instance, you're thinking about moving to a city, right? A
yeah,
job or retirement, whatever it may be. How valuable would it be for you to know that, like, maybe not a good idea to go to Atlanta?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I keep thinking about this. So, what is that? Yeah, I mean, I think all the time is there a force, Trisha, that people can plug into that can get this type of feelings or something? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's just an instinct. I'm not sure. But I listened to it, thank goodness, and just,
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I've said to myself, there's been times when I had a gut feeling not to go there, and I didn't.
yeah. And it
And
wasn't till years later that my friend told me. So I didn't know beforehand.
oh,
He looked at my chart and explained how you do it. And he said, no, because I asked him about Egypt and he said, inland is not good for you, but you're fine on the coast.
wow. That's what I love about empaths. I mean, the empath community.
And I wasn't even doing this then when I even went to Egypt. I wasn't doing this as a profession. It wasn't long after actually I went
But
to
look
Egypt.
what it taught you, though.
Mm.
You lived the experience before you knew the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's profound, Wayne. You lived the experience before you had the knowledge,
yeah.
which validated to me that there's foundation to the science. And I can
Yeah.
only say it is science.
And I know a lot of people are going to be. I'm not a big history person either. I'm more about the future, not the past. And a
Hmm.
lot of people say to me, "Well, you need to know about the past," and I agree. Perhaps you do, but I like the future or the now rather than. I'm not a big history person. Like people ask me about history, I'll probably sound a bit like ignorant because I don't know. I don't. It just doesn't interest me.
On my radio show, the Steiger Perspective, the lead in, and as I wrote this, and I believe it was given to me, is that our past is being dictated by our future. And I want to explain that out a little bit, Tricia. So, what I mean by that, like you said, you don't have the propensity for the desire of history,
Mm,
just the future, which
mm,
is very cool. Because here's the thing: the more we dig, the more we discover it's rewriting our past.
yeah.
So if there are certain people who have that natural ability, the presence of mind, that where they can be in that future tense, inevitably it's going to have an impact on the past.
Mm,
Isn't that
yeah.
what you do, though? I mean, people come to you, they look for what's my life path numbers? What are the numbers in my life? See, to me, that's future dictating the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Because so many people have come to me for readings and then they've always wanted to be self-employed, but they just either didn't have the confidence or whatever. But it was in their numerology, and just saying the words to them then give them the confidence or just that nudge, like, yeah, I am doing the right thing. And they've gone on to create their own businesses. Like, I think that's amazing, It just
Well,
makes
what
me
I find is amazing is that people like you and my dear, dear friends in here, Kit Kat, Sue G. And the thing about what I'm learning, like particularly with Sue G, is she has that remarkable ability of present and linking to future?
Well, Sue G, I hope she doesn't mind, but I do remember she's a Life Path 3, and they're very much about the now.
Yeah.
They teach people to live in the now, in the present. That's one of their gifts, and they're often very mediumistic. She's got
good. Kaz, I see that you're in here. I owe you. We're going to get you on the show. Just wanted to say that, but let me tell you, if there are people I am learning by experience, yourself, Sue G, there's others in our community as well. You know, Heidi with the Vedic astrology. Just so many that as I sit here, if we could just learn to cultivate this more. I mean, there are resources right in with us that any person that has a challenge in life, there are resources in this community with people right now that can straighten that out.
I also feel it's like we're just almost reminding people, and people do this for me as well, like they're just reminding us what we've forgotten.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, I woke up this morning and I've been taking these supplements on the pineal gland, and I'm flying again in my dreams.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't done that for decades. But I woke up this morning with this very profound thought. And that is, what I realize is that I am immersed in an illusionary world, which we all are. And we're interacting with each other in this illusionary matrix we're in. But I think that if we could continue to come together, Trisha, I think many of us can get out of this maze. I think we can break the karmatic cycle.
Yeah.
See, I've been thinking more and more about karma, and that if karma is this cycle, it never ends. At some point in time, it has to be broken.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Sue G. It's like exercising a muscle, you know, our intuition or a bit. It is like a muscle. It gets stronger as the more you do it, the stronger it gets.
So then does that say that we all have the ability of having the instincts, maybe the premonition?
We're all born with it. Maybe some people have it stronger. I don't know. I don't know how we can actually prove it. I think we are all born with it because that's how we survive. Like we learn to survive with our parents. Like we instinctively know. That's why a lot of people that have had a lot of trauma are often very, very in tune because they've learned to their senses and their instincts. Sadly, we're on high alert. You know, like if they had a parent that was very abusive or whatever, they learned to adapt on how can I survive, you know, at this young age to, I don't know if I'm wording it right, but they learn to survive by adapting. And that's your instincts. That's your intuition.
You know, I'm just going to give a little anecdote story here. So 2 days ago, not too far from us, there is right along the Front Range, there is a railroad track used quite often with the trains coming out of Wyoming, which anyway. So if an individual was more aware of these instinctive abilities that they could talk to people such as yourself, Sue, others, that they would be more in tune to their environment. Now, this is a tragedy. A man and a son were crossing this track. They apparently didn't heed the train horn, and the train hit them. The train was carrying almost a half mile long. It hit this car going at 45 miles an hour. Needless to say, both died. And I often think, hey, Warrior Princess, if you could had that natural ability, the instinct to tap into the fact that their death was imminent. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know, Trisha. We've got to teach people more about these instincts.
Yeah, because so many people block it or don't believe in it. And like, I still sometimes question things. I pick up things all the time about things to do with myself and my life. So, you know, I'm learning more and more to trust it and believe it. Even if it sounds crazy, like I will often pick up about people thinking about me in a certain way. They've not spoken to me. They've not texted me. They've not. And then I get evidence the next day that that actually was happening. And that's
Interesting.
thousands of miles away, and there's been no verbal communication.
Yeah. I'm finding that more and more.
I just feel like I'm just beginning, to be honest with you, with all this, even though it's been, 8 years that, I mean, I got onto the journey probably later than a lot of people here. I
definitely have. Hi, Iowa X. How you doing?
I had an interest. Hi, everybody. I had an interest in, astrology, numerology, tarot cards, but I didn't,
Were you drawn to that early? Because apparently it didn't seem like you, yes?
I was drawn to it, but I never did anything with it because I guess...
more taboo? Was it more something?
Well, I didn't have a religious block on it, but like my parents run their businesses. I was helping them run their business as a child. And then I went in the military. So I was always focused on something else. But like I've said the story before about the gypsy Rosalie, with the crystal ball, I was aged, 6? And I was just so wanting to get in there and see these cards and the crystal ball. I was 6.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that makes sense.
And my mother's mother, no, not my mother's mother, my mother's grandmother. So my great grandmother actually read the tarot, but I didn't find that out until I was late 30s.
Well, I can tell you what I've learned from Sue, that I've learned to quiet the energy spirits that are around. I mean, I've known for some time that they seem to be attracting around me, but this is what I've learned from our relationships. And when you help me out on that, I mean, now I'm a numerology. Oh yeah, I believe it.
Well, number 9s are also supposedly, I don't always, we're born wise and evolved because we're the last number in that, we're born with a lot of wisdom,
And why does it take so long in life to figure it out?
I know. And apparently, always people said to me, even at 17, 18, you're so mature for your age. You're so, this, that, and the other, I don't know,
Well, I think it's because we're evolving. I'm convinced of that. The fact that we are such complex beings. And when we talk about things like divination, things like, seeing what the future potentially can hold. What I've learned is that the future is never written. We can go, because I think about, I had a friend who was murdered, and I often wonder about that did she know, did she sense, and she was a very, very sweet woman, and unfortunately was brutally murdered. And I can't help but not think is that if we could only help teach others, that I think we may have these safety things within us, Trisha. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, because I look back, not now, but often, sometimes I look back on the situation with my ex-husband, and I could so easily not be here, but maybe I managed to react in a way that didn't inflame the situation more than it could have.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Something instinctual, like a certain family member kept giving me advice, and I'm like, no, that doesn't sit right with me to act in that way, because I think it would make it a lot worse. So I managed to adapt my behavior to survive.
Yep.
That's how I believe. I think if I'd acted in the way that I was been advised, it could be a whole different story.
I wonder how many in the group, I'll just ask this question to the chat room, and even of you, Trisha. I've looked back on my life. I've had 5 instances in my life where I come literally moments away from death. And so what was the difference that allowed me to encounter life-threatening situations and death never came? But there are others who never had those type of experiences, that when a freak something came along, death was there.
I mean, my take on it, I don't know if anyone else is, your time was not you still had a job to do. You still had a message to give, or, that your time wasn't up. You were supposed to stay,
Yeah. Then that gets me right.
it's not an easy question to answer, I guess.
Have you ever had that experience? Near
What
death?
do you mean?
You know, ever had a near-death experience where you knew that you were close to something that would have taken you out of this realm?
Oh yeah, with the domestic violence, like I had a throat. I mean, and I don't say this for sympathy or anything. I had a knife to my throat. When you've got someone with a knife to your throat and you're up against the wall, it could be. I just thought, this is going to end one way or the other. I'm either going to be taken out now, or yeah. When you've got a big carving knife to your throat, it could go. And somebody who's in that rage of their, that blind rage when they just see red, like it could have been all over in seconds. And I do look back and think, how on earth did I even said to him, if you're going to do it, just do it. I can't stand much more of this. Just do it.
Do it.
Do it or leave me alone. And something made him put the knife down.
What? Yeah. I'm looking at Angela, born 6 weeks preemie, 3 near-death experiences after that. See? So what, you see, this is, Trish, why I like our shows. I know this is a little different, and, we'll get more in the back in next week, but I'm questioning in my own spirit. I'm not so convinced that we have souls. I've been doing some study on souls. It's really a more recent modern revival of something that was not, but I'm saying my spirit, that essence that is me. What is it that where some have, is it predestined destinies? Is it the fact that there is something more guiding those of us who apparently have a role to play, to others? I don't know, to others don't.
Well, when I muscle test it, 'cause sometimes when you see me do this, I muscle test it. It's like using the rods or a pendulum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My feeling is that it's not our time. We're not destined to go yet. That's just my take on it. And there might be more to it than just that. Because there's been a few occasions. And it's interesting because through Vedic astrology, my chakra with the most karmic is my throat. And if you think I had a knife at my throat, he tried to strangle me. Like, again, it's your throat. That was another time when I've had about 3 incidents where people have tried to strangle me in my life. And it's all, and I've done nothing to these people, by the way, when you might think like, oh, she must have deserved that. Well, no, like, I hadn't done anything. They were just jealous, very angry people. And this is male and female, not just male.
That's interesting. The throat, when you say that.
And my son's is his heart chakra, and he was born with a heart condition.
Heart condition. Isn't that
he's lucky to be alive. Like, he could have been so taken out if it wasn't for technology, medicine. He's like nearly 20 now and going strong. But his is his heart chakra.
That is so interesting. I love this. I took a infrared image, not an infrared, heat image of myself.
Right.
And it's very interesting to see where most of my energy is located at. It's right here.
Wow.
Seriously, it's right there.
Do you think that's also maybe a Gemini thing? Because we're very much
in the mind
and the head.
I don't know. Here, I'll show you.
I don't know about you, because I know we've got the same birthday.
Yeah,
but
we do.
Could be completely different. I've got, in Vedic astrology, I've got 5 planets in Gemini. So I'm very Gemini. So
let me show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I were actually like, Gemini, your voice is your thing. Yeah.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that. So here you go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See what I mean? Look at this.
Jeez, yeah.
So take a little experiment, folks. Check it out for you. But I just find that very interesting because in my life, I've had more illnesses that try to attack my brain. The meningitis, along with the Lyme disease.
Maybe your karma could be the third eye or the.
It seems someone did I have very sweet people that are in and Lynn and Bill, they do great drawings. When the energy is there, and so something is going on. I don't know. I mean, that was a little experiment I wanted to do, and just to see.
Well, the Cosmic Insights app that I downloaded after Heidi had, is it Dr. Arjun? I forget his surname now. He's got the Cosmic Insights app, and
Yeah,
you put all your details in, and it tells you all the percentage of the chakras, and that's how I worked it out. But Heidi had already told me it was my throat, so and it backed that up. So,
well, let me tell you about throats. I went in for they had to do a procedure, looking in my stomach, and they put you out and they put this thing down your throat, the camera. Apparently, there must have something happened to me in a former life, because they had me out. But when the doctor tried to put the scope down my throat, I wasn't having any of it. I'm unconscious, Trisha.
wow.
So he's calling for 2 other medical assistants to come in. They had 4 people holding me down on the gurney in the operating room, because this is what the doctor says. Lynn will testify this. He came out and he says, I can't do, and he was Oriental. He says, I can't do the procedure. And Lynn's a nurse. She's like, why? He says, well, we've given your husband enough drugs to sedate a horse, but he fought 4 of us and would not allow me to put the stethoscope down his throat.
Wow.
So it goes to show you how I think sometimes some of our spirits really are much. I mean, they had me so drugged. I mean, I was loaded for a good 12 hours, but yeah.
I was going to have that actually, but never, like, I'd had, the other one, because they never found anything. I had the other camera, and then they were going to do the throat.
Yeah, yeah.
And something in me was like, no, I'm not having that done. You're not putting a camera down my throat, because I'd heard so many. I never did have it done, but there was nothing wrong with me.
Well, I have this little thing where I don't digest my food as quick, which is great diet. But yeah, so this one of those things. I mean, apparently that there's many of us, and I contribute to the growth of this community that's helped me grow. You've helped me grow.
Yeah, I think we all do. We're all teachers and we're all students, I believe. But something I've noticed recently is there's still a lot of people in fear. It comes across as anger, but I think it's fear. Some things I've experienced the last few days, not to do with YouTubes, in other communities, and plus YouTube. And I just read people's written word, and I'm like, wow, I can feel the fear right in my stomach of these people. A lot of fear.
I was talking to Jennifer Collins earlier, and I agree. We were talking specifically about this, that there is an intensity. I call it an agitation factor. It seems like people are just on the razor edge. Mm. And so much anger and hate. I mean, I'm convinced of this. There is a divide coming. And I think that those who sell and trade in hate will have much more than what they could have ever imagined coming. Us, on the other hand, we're going to have to get sharp on our game. We're going to have to be much more diligent, much more vigilant in keeping that love alive amongst us.
Yeah, it's really stood out to me, that particularly the last day or two. I'm seeing it a lot more clearer now. Whereas before I was like, what's wrong with people? Like, why can't I? But now I'm just saying, no, they're just full of fear. Yeah. So fearful. And this is men and women. This isn't just one.
Oh, it's across the board. Yeah. I'm working with some people, and I'll be talking to you more, Trisha, about this. Sue G, want to talk to you about this as well. But 2019, we're going to put on the Sapien Summit. And it's the declaration of our sovereignty. And I see this being a 2-day affair. I see this becoming an international event. And we're going to get ready, folks. We're going to get ready for us sapiens. That's all of us. To begin to get real about some things. And this is going to be part of that.
And it's interesting because that'll be in year 3. You think of three, they call it the
No,
magic
yeah.
number, it's the Holy Trinity, whatever you want to call it, Ascended Masters, but they call it three is the magic number, which is one of my favorite songs. So that's quite interesting.
See, and I meditated on this, and the date, it's 2019, and we'll nail this down, but we're going to do this. And it's time for our species, sapiens everywhere, to make the declaration of sovereignty. Because we have been in this mind matrix for too many thousands of years. And we've got to try something different. And so you're part of the solution. We're going to get others. And Sue, thank you for being in. We're going to get a GoFundMe account ready on this one. We're going to make this become an international event. And I see it as an alternative to what we see today. Where do we go for an alternative, Trisha? Where do we come together as a group? And the problem I have with the metaphysical community is that it's become a religion. And I left that because I was fed up with religion.
And I find there's a lot of spiritual snobbery in the spiritual community, not just here, like on Facebook, wherever. A lot of, and it shocks me how the people that are claiming to be so spiritual are all acting so egotistical, like, no, my way's better than your way. I know more than you, you're not as good as me. I was shocked. I was like, geez.
I sent an email out to an individual who's pretty well known, that I thought that they were about helping humanity, helping us to ascend. And no, but there's a price that you could pay that. And I went, what? So, I think somewhere along the line, we have gotten off the tracks, but we're going to get this right. That's all I can say. Our hour is gone.
It's just surprised me. You can meet somebody that's just a normal guy or lady that doesn't claim to be spiritual. And they're probably more spiritual than some people that claim to be all this.
And then they're coming up, and this is what I am so glad to see. And I'll promote anyone that is out there that can help us break this matrix, this karma. I have a shirt I'll be wearing in one of our shows that actually shows the karma being broken. Because until it's broken, I don't see how we progress. I don't see how we move forward.
It's like my next door neighbor, she happens to be a life path number 9, and she's a Pisces. She's got to be one of the most, what I call spiritual people I've met, but she doesn't do any of this. She doesn't claim to be. She's so loving and so giving.
Loving.
And that to me is spiritual. She's been brought like an angel. To me, she's been brought like a gift from, and I'm not a God person, but it's like a gift from God. She's got to be one of the nicest neighbors.
It's like Warrior Princess. We're going to have her back on. And because you know why? I've never met her yet, but she's a person who I just would want to go up and hug.
Yeah.
She's
lovely.
We need more of that family type, the grandmother, the grandfather that you can go up. We all need a hug. I have found more people that when you hug them and really hug them, they start breaking down and crying.
Yeah.
They cry because it's that thing that we all want.
Yeah, touch is so important. It's like babies. If they don't get the touch from their mother or whatever, when they're babies, they die. They can die.
They
can't
die.
They without touch at birth.
Right.
Yeah, hugging. And I was never a huggy person. It was a friend of mine that I met. We were best friends for about 7 years in Cornwall. She always met me with a hug. And I was like, this, because I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to it.
It's like, now hey, you're violating my space.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is a bit, but I become now that person where I want to give someone a hug when I say goodbye or hello, male or female, but I wasn't like that because I wasn't used to it.
Well, from my childhood where, I was beaten so bad where I equated touch to pain.
Pain, yeah.
You want to hug me? Had that already, as our friend Jeff Doherty would say, get that con out of my face,
But, it's touch is so healing, hugs and touch. it's
Yeah.
healing. You know, we need it. That's in our lives.
As we leave here, everybody, we'll give you the big virtual hug. And
even if it's your cat, you know, for me, maybe at the moment, I'm single. My cat, even as they say, if you've got a cat, you're less likely to have strokes and heart attacks, or a dog, you know, whatever, a pet. You're less likely to have things like that if you've got a pet even. It doesn't have
my
to be.
dog, Dancer, and I, she and I are connected. And I love that dog. That dog has taught me about love, unconditional love.
Unconditional love, yeah.
Yeah, that's the gift, you know, that we have. Well, Miss Trisha, it's been an hour.
Yeah, and the guy who asked about I've got his daughter's numbers, but I'm going to go live on my channel in a bit.
Okay.
So you can either join
just pick up over there,
or we can get him in next time. But he's got, a very spiritual daughter. Let's just say that.
Head on over there. That'll be the good thing.
I forget
Jake, how are you doing? Listen, everyone, thank you. Thank you all for making our hour so much enjoyable. I mean, Trisha and I could talk anyway, but when y'all
flew by us Geminis, we'll be able to speak for hours.
But when y'all come on, we all get together, and it's a good time. Well, Miss Trisha, I'll see you next Wednesday night. I mean, Wednesday, your night, my afternoon.
Yeah, my evening, yeah.
Okay, if not sooner.
Okay.
Okay.
And thanks for everybody that's tuned in today. It's great to see
you all.
New names.
Much love to you, everyone. And hey, let's be kind to one another.